Mario Party 6 is the most popular Mario Party in the online fan base, and that's weird. 6 released during the series' first quote-unquote decline, where most people were getting sick of Mario's parties. If you played one, you played them all, they might say. But as time went on, and more people emulated it, and more Mario parties released, the public's opinion shifted. The thing is, 6 uses the controversial capsule mechanic from 5. So how did we get here? For a recap on capsules, they're items that can be thrown onto the board in addition to being usable on yourself. It opened up a lot of potential for power plays and chaos, but failed to produce incentives for players to set them on the board. And with its introduction, series staples like shops, boo, and chance time were removed. Capsules had potential, and with a few adjustments, they could be a great time. So with Mario Party 6 being the most popular game, you already know those issues were resolved. So here's what they did. For starters, capsules are called orbs now, which is great because that's one syllable. Orbs are domesticated. When you throw one, the space becomes yours, which fixes the gamble of throwing self-harming items onto the board because not only are you now immune to your own traps, but you also get 5 coins for landing on it. You'll even receive some cash just for using an orb, and a new bonus store has been created to further incentivize playing them. On top of that, my complaint about capsules losing practicality at junctions was addressed. A whole subset of orbs were created that automatically trigger when someone passes them, which makes these lethal in the right circumstances. If you don't want someone to use a path or are pursuing a particular player, you definitely want to have a red orb in your back pocket. These can stop someone in their place, warp them, drain their coins, really powerful effects. And to keep these things from dominating the metagame, after one use, the space reverts back to its original status. So it's best to save them for when they'll matter most. Additionally, self-serving items like mushrooms can't be thrown anymore, but we did get some newbies like the sluggish shroom, which lets you pick the number you roll, and the metal mushroom, that ignores the effects of orb spaces. Shops are back, but their inventory's been gutted to 3 items at a time. It definitely limits opportunities to strategize, but let's be real here, a game where you can buy any red orb you want is probably toxic. On the bright side, mushrooms are reliably in stock, so if you're just looking for an extra roll, they've got you covered. And even better news is that free orbs make a return, which not only adds more items into play, but it also helps people who suck at minigames from being completely out of contention. Chance time is back, Boo is technically back. It genuinely feels like Hudson Soft gave Mario Party 5 a thorough look and did everything they could to optimize a Mario Party with orbs. And a couple other new additions to the game include Toadette as a playable character, the dual capsule has been thrown out and turned into a space. Actually, quite a few items like the coin block, cursed mushroom, and miracle have been retired, with many others having their roles completely changed. But to summarize, they've been rebalanced. Oh, and Mario Party 6 has a gimmick, which takes us to the story. There is no story. The plot is that the sun is obnoxious. Mario and Co are partying with celestial avatars when an intoxicated Brighton, who has a praise kink, asks Twila if he's better than her. Twila refuses to feed his ego, so Brighton starts pulling her hair, and then Twila splashes her Coors Light on him in retaliation, really just killing the vibe. So Mario's brilliant solution to end their feud is to gather all the stars in the universe and invest them on a certificate of deposit. This means collecting 410,000 stars to buy individual pages of a pop-up book. Yeah, that's the only way to salvage this relationship. Every single menu Brighton's like, can't stand her fake ass. Then you buy page 2 and it's me and the bestie. What's the point of this? Nothing, because at the end of the game, they let the stars go. And that's the story. But I did say there's a gimmick. So because Twila beat the shit out of Brighton, every 3 turns the game switches between day and night. It's the revival of Mario Party 2's Horrorland. Depending on the time, boards transform. Paths open and close, happening spaces switch around, Boo may appear, Donkey Kong and Bowser replace each other in a horrific Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde transition, minigames change, literally the rules of game boards alter depending on the sun's diurnal motion. So there's a lot to cover, and Towering Treetop's a great place to start, as it's nearly identical in design to Toy Dream from Mario Party 5, but the shops and free orb spaces are relocated, and many paths have been tightened and trimmed. In the center, dandelions can whisk you away to a random location, and Woody and Marukio return to rain gold and debt onto players. Bees will steal your coins if you get too close to their hive, and breaking everyone's spines as a tree sneeze away. At night, paths shrink and grow, and if you're hanging near the canopy, Pink Boo can be paid to haunt the competition. It's a generic board that eases in the gimmick. Not much changes, but having a simple map like this is good for people who want that traditional experience. Gadd's garage goes deep into the professor's basement where unspeakable things happen and sunlight passes through the ceiling. And the map's got a huge focus on orbs. There's 7 free orb spaces, so traps will quickly fill up. And if you've got too many duds, Gadd will trade them out or pay top dollar for everything you've got. Need something to spend all that dough on? Well, come on down to the Calamity Launcher and get yourself more turf. That old bastard's really lost some screws. He's got a fan that steals coins, treadmills that send people back to start, and transporters that'll turn you into Gooigi. Once again, there isn't a massive difference between day and night. A platform in the middle rotates every cycle, adding shortcuts or roundabouts. Nothing groundbreaking, but I often see Gadd's Garage discussed as a top 5 board in the entire series, which I wouldn't rank that high. But I'll concur that the map takes the core Mario Party experience and amplifies it in a way that pulls out Mario Party 6's strengths and offers very few faults. Castaway Bay is the revival of Mario Party 1's Rainbow Castle and much better. It's got shops, boost pushed back, the path split at the end isn't a joke, Bowser steals your stars, there's a lot more at stake. Happening spaces reprise their role of switching the star in and out of play, but now there's a shortcut that skips half of the map. But the caveat is that Bowser can smack you in the gob with a cannonball, which ends your turn. A Goomba Christ figure randomizes players' locations, and during the day, a drug lord hands out shrooms, and Yukiki's there too. Surprisingly, this board isn't too affected by the time of day. The only changes are the shrine and boo, and maybe you're thinking this day-night gimmick is about as simple as these last 3 boards have made it. But the next 3 maps use time in very unique ways that accentuate the potential of this gimmick. Like, have you ever wondered what would happen if you could buy more than 1 star at a time? The answer is Faire Square. When it's daytime, Brighton sells stars for $20 a pop. Standard, at peace, and in charge of its own destiny. But at night, Twila says, "Fuck it, we ball. Fuck it, we ball. Fuck it, we ball. Fuck it, we ball." Dusk rolls over and stars can cost 5 coins, 40 coins, anything goes. 5 for the price of 25. Holy shit, that turns this board into the ultimate hedger. Pay now, save later. How badly do you want to win, and how much will it cost? It kind of reminds me of another party game. But the weird thing about this board is how quickly it trivializes the value of a star. You land on a dual space, and suddenly coins are more important. Koopa Bank returns via slot machine, stars can be gambled in a shell game, everyone can bet a star or coins for a random winner to receive, a magic broom can whisk you right in front or behind the star, and why not, a house that teleports people back to star. This is a map where you can get some meaty outcomes. 30 stars, 50, 100. Dude, you throw chance time into the mix, and Faire Square is quite possibly the most exciting map in Mario Party history because of its economy. But how about a map with no economy? Snowflake Lake is a completely new format that shares many similarities with Mario Party 3's duel mode. Everybody starts with 5 stars, consider it your health, and instead of having partners, players spend their coins on chain chomps who steal stars from anyone they pass. Being a huge supporter of duel mode, you already know I'm gonna champion Snowflake Lake. I love the added layer of strategy that the chain chomps produce. Every turn you're considering where everybody is, where the chain chomps are, and what time it is when making your move. Will you play chase for that sweet, sweet nectar, or need to take cover? Maybe you have to sacrifice coins using a chain chomp to run away, or need to negotiate a ceasefire when someone's got too many stars, or they're getting a little too cocky with that bone orb in their pants. And what ties it all together is the day-night stuff. When the sun sets, all paths to the center are blocked off, so there's nowhere to hide, and even better, chain chomps are half off and let you buy 3 dice, really hammering down how important it is to think multiple turns in advance. The happening spaces aren't as plentiful here, but a rogue snowball can send players back to start for a turn of immunity, and the titular Snowflake Lake is a popular site for ice skating and snowball fights. And guess what? There's another dual mode map. Clockwork Castle is backtrack and Pipesqueak's love child with some genes from Castaway Bay. You'll chase Donkey Kong during the day cause he's selling stars, but at night, Bowser takes over and he becomes the player, turning the map around and robbing anybody in his path. So once again, you really need to think each move through. And what allows that even more is the opportunity to use warp pipes to skip half the board for a quick snipe on Donkey or a getaway from Bowser. You can also re-roll the pipes locations if that's your style, or if being a god is more appealing, they got a roulette that yeets the sun out of the sky. UFOs can send players back to start, orbs can be fished from the heavens, you can visit Twila's freaking airship for stars and coins, or Brighton's shit shack next door. Yeah, they kind of went crazy with this map. So I think it's safe to say that Mario Party 6 has some great boards. There's a variety of rule sets to play with, and none of the maps have a glaring flaw that ruins them. So much power is at the player's hand, and the day-night gimmick adds a lot of extra depth that the series has only really seen with item play. And when you add in the orbs and all the extra touches Hudson Soft did to make them work this time around, it's really easy to see why Mario Party 6 has the prestigious status of fan favorite. So the coolest part about the day-night gimmick for me is that it also affects the minigames. Nearly every minigame in 6 has 2 different versions, and some of them have a rule set for each time. Like in What Goes Up, players are jumping off paratroopas to be the highest during the day, but at night, they're falling and avoiding the clouds and Koopas. In Conveyor Bolt, one player's attacking the 3 in the day, with the reversal occurring at night. Mullet switches if you're jumping or ground pounding Monties, and Freeze Frame changes where the rare characters spawn. Besides those 4 and a few aesthetic changes here and there, not many minigames play differently depending on the time. Still though, you have to admire the extra mile the devs went implementing this feature when they could have gone away without it. So let's take it into the 4-player games. I think this is a fun selection, especially if you like platforming, because we are eating. What Goes Up is the perfect speedrunner vertical jumper, Daft Rafts is the evolution of platform peril, my favorite minigame by the way, and Circuit Maximus cuts the jumps and lets you run and dodge with the engine's tight controls. Need more 2D action? Lift Leapers is an entire side-scrolling Mario level, and Note to Self is a chaotic arena collecting game. Besides those, Snow World's an awesome take on the button masher, Motown's a free-for-all eats a pizza, Sunday Drivers is the timing game we've been waiting for, Throw Me a Bone is surprisingly competitive, Trappist Artist is a great game nobody likes, Money Belt is a taste of devilish brain age, and Tricky Tires is the best way to make everyone feel stupid. 1 vs 3 fumbled again. Look guys, I'll take Bulldozers and Snowbrawl anytime, but Ray of Fright, Stage Fright, and Creighton Peril are some of the most unfair minigames I've ever seen. And then you play with computers, and Dust Till Dawn and Popstars are unwinnable as the 3, and it's just like, wow, these 1v3s kinda suck. And unfortunately, I feel the same way about the 2v2s. Like, Burn Style is fun, but after that, this might be the weakest set of team games in the series, unless you've got 4 humans, because most of the set has good nail biters, like Jump the Gun, Light Breeze, and Clean Team. Slot Trot and Gondola Glide have their merits too, but take my word when I say the AI is particularly disappointing to get paired with in most of these. The good news is, battle minigames have finally reclaimed their S-tier status. Hyper Sniper is the best minigame in 6. Control Stick is a fantastic rendition of Shy Guy Says. Strawberry Short Fuse is an exciting memory minigame. Rasslin' Rapids is by far the series' most cinematic deathmatch, and I know everyone hates it, but I love Insector Ride too. Duels also pick up the pace. Cogjog and Full Tilt bring those smooth platforming controls to the table. Light Up My Night and Something's Amiss are really fun because their reliance on searching for visual cues is surprisingly unique. 6 still has very simple concepts like in 5, but the small tweaks to presentation and win condition make these a lot more fun to play and watch. Bowser and DK minigames also feel significantly better. I especially like the recycling of Super Mario Sunshine assets here, and for those oddball minigames that just exist for no reason, Labras is a really good maze generator, and finally, a Mario basketball game in the suburbs. Now, I'm not gonna lie and tell you Mario Party 6 has one of my favorite sets of minigames in the entire series, because those 1v3s and 2v2s are rough. But looking at the ensemble, there's a lot of great games that bring the average up. And if you're someone like me who particularly likes the free-for-alls, this game has a minigame mode you will just love. Treetop Bingo. When I play Mario Party 6 with my cousins, this almost always gets around. It's bingo. Whoever wins a minigame can pick a number off their board. But because of the format, I think this mode works way better than the traditional 1st to 7 type mode, because even if you lose, you may still get rewarded. And when we play, we do 1st to 5 lines wins, which makes the game much more closer and allows nearly every free-for-all game to get played, so it all just works together. I think every Mario Party should have Treetop Bingo. It's the second best minigame mode, right after Decathlon, which is once again perfection. As I've said in 5, getting to play minigames in a mode that scores your performance and allows everyone to complete them is something I would model a video game after myself. I love Decathlon that much, and again, I just have to state that without this mode existing in the GameCube Mario parties, I'm not sure summer breaks in my grandma's house would have peaked as much as they did. And you have to understand that those summer breaks were fucking heat as it is. Decathlon just brought it from a 10 to an 11. Did you know Mario Party 6 has another gimmick? Yeah, the GameCube microphone, an obscure little accessory. Have you ever felt the button on this thing? Why is it softer than a lamb's ear? So the microphone is very simple. It's not expecting you to read a video game review script or anything stupid like that. Just single words like subscribe, Waluigi, and finish! This thing sucks, and there's a reason it's been completely wiped out of all Mario Party 6 discussions. It's got 5 whole mini games, the caller challenge from Survivor, and a game show, which I can actually get down with, except it stops halfway in before you even get into the hard stuff. Like, what the hell, man? And another mode that takes the piss is solo mode. In the last 3 games, if you're by yourself, they took care of you. There were lengthy modes where you unlocked a board and collected knickknacks and fought a final boss, and it was great, and Mario Party 6 decided to not do any of that. Instead, you can walk 15 spaces and watch Yoshi die. So this is literally a single player Mario Party where you roll a dice and play a minigame every turn, with the goal being to land on the last space to win. And I don't like it that much. If you lose, you wasted your time, and if you win, it was because the game gave you a sluggish room. The only reason anybody should bother coming here is because it's the quickest way to farm stars. Otherwise, just play a normal game board. And that's gonna cover it for Mario Party 6. It kinda sucks that we ended with all this negativity, but I hope all the positives from the game boards and minigames left a deeper impression. You look back at the last 5 games, and each one has some kind of flaw, like bad boards, or weak minigames, or a missing feature, or item, or something that sticks out, and I feel pretty comfortable saying Mario Party 6 is the shortest nail. Like, the only real critique I ever see people make is that they don't like how the bonus stars were changed, which is something I've never cared about because I think just playing a round of Mario Party with people I love is a gift in itself. I don't care who wins or how well I do, I just want to have a good time, and the rest of Mario Party 6 provides that. Easily. It's the fanbase's favorite game, and I'd go as far as to say it's not even close. People just love this game. The gimmick, the boards, the meta. It gets talked about so much and so vivaciously that you almost forget that 6 is the worst selling console Mario Party to date. And for my closing thoughts, all I want to say is that Mario Party 7 is better. Thanks for watching the video, I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave a like as help the channel grow, and subscribe to get updates on my uploads as soon as they happen. But until then, I will see you all next time.